Good evening, folks. I ask you to stop surfing YouTube just for a few minutes here so we can talk about thinking for yourself. This is an adjunct to the Fox attacks Iran video, which is pretty entertaining and I think speaks for itself. We shouldn't even call it Fox News, it's just Fox. They are very transparent about banging the drums for war and fear-mongering and instilling fear to the extent into the American public, to the extent that they can get our consent that allows this administration to do whatever the heck it pleases, including military action with Iran. Now, I'm going to put this into two segments, so they'll both be about 6 minutes long. So just let's go a little deeper here. It's obvious what Fox is trying to do with the dramatic music and dramatic cuts, but let's look at what they're actually trying to make you believe, even if you're not paying attention into subliminal. One, they want us to believe that all these are reasons to attack Iran. They have nuclear weapon capability so they can blow the bejeezas out of us. Two, we don't want another 9/11. Three, they're funding and arming the Shiite militias in Iraq, which are helping to cause a lot of the mayhem over there. Four, they're funding and supplying military help to the Taliban in Afghanistan, which is also causing havoc over there. Five, they're a threat to democracy and freedom. So these are the 5 reasons I brought up. One by one, you can see it's a hodgepodge. It doesn't really have a logic to it. It's just meant to stun you with fear. 1, 9/11, the Saudi Arabians and the Pakistanis had more complicity, it appears, to do with that than Iraq or Iran, which we have no links to. It had nothing to do with 9/11. 2, the Shiite militias, which are being funded by President Ahmadinejad in Iran. The Shiite militias. Let's take a look at 2 photos now I want to show you, and I think they speak volumes. This first photo is of President Maliki, the president of Iraq, the head of the Shiite coalition, part of the government of Iraq, which is the controlling part of the government. There he is in a beautiful hand embrace with President Ahmadinejad of Iran very recently in a visit there. 2, let's look at the second photo. There's President Karzai, the president of Afghanistan, in a warm hug with President Ahmadinejad of Iran in a recent visit between the two, as Karzai likes to call them, brothers. Okay. I wanted to show you these 2 pictures, which many of you might have seen back to back, because when we say Ahmadinejad is supplying the Shiite militias with help, militarily and funding, why are we supposed to be afraid of that? Remember, the Shiite militias and Maliki, the president we support, are one and the same. It's been reported over and over again, the connections between the Shiite militias and the cabinet members and the government members that make up the Shiite party in Iraq, the United Shiite Alliance. Okay? So yes, Ahmadinejad is probably helping them, but so are we! And we're also funding the Sunni militias, the ones that were just killing our American soldiers, thinking that if we can get them to fight these Al-Qaeda extremists, well, then maybe we can control the insurgency. It's like sicking John Cena on Kurt Angle, sicking him on Brutus Beefcake, so while all 3 of them are fighting, no one can attack. I don't know what the logic is. That's a bad example. Look, it just doesn't really make much sense. But we are supporting the Shiite militia. We are also supporting the Sunni militias. Take more heed in stories such as the Italian government uncovered last week, where the Iraqi government, the Shiite Iraqi-controlled government, was buying AK-47s, thousands of them on the black market through Dubai from an Italian mafia group, an underground market. Why would they need to do that if we're the ones supplying them with their weapons? Why is it that the Pentagon cannot account for 40% of the weapons that we have supplied to the Iraqi government since 2004? Where did they go? There's an interesting op-ed in the New York Times by a group of soldiers who are still there, who wrote "The War as We Saw It." And they very astutely and insightfully, I thought, explain how it's very difficult to trust these sides we're supporting right now, and it's very obvious where the true loyalties of the Iraqi army lies, which is with these militias. The militias are simply the people of Iraq protecting themselves in the midst of chaos. Okay? So, that's the other one we're supposed to be afraid of, Ahmadinejad helping the Shiite militias, which we also are. Third, Ahmadinejad is helping the Taliban, which makes no sense, because Iran was the ones who helped us get rid of the Taliban in 2001. They despise the Taliban. The Taliban is a Sunni extremist organization. Iran is a Shia extremist country. Okay? So these two are not friends, but we're supposed to buy that they are. The nuclear weapons. Well, there are at least 10 countries that have nuclear weapons now. There's China, Britain, Israel, Pakistan, India, France, I think, has it. The United States, China, Russia, who we're not exactly getting along with right now. As much as Ahmadinejad might talk macho and hate America, he has his own political problems there. Don't be fooled, folks. There's a large population of Iranians who do not want to go into another war. They are still feeling the effects of the 8-year war with Iraq. To think that they would allow their president to lead them into a war is very disingenuous. Plus, they're not dumb. What do you think? They're going to bomb New York tomorrow and then they'll be obliterated. They're not that self-destructive. They're not exactly the same mindset as the Palestinian suicide bombers who are blowing themselves up because they have nothing to live for. So they've allowed themselves to be brainwashed thinking that there's a better life for them after this one. So the idea of the Bush administration and Fox and all is to confuse everything and just stun you into fear.